Hi everyone. If you're enjoying the show and have appreciated the tips and experience being shared with you, maybe consider leaving a one-off tip to support production, including the hosting, the booking, the marketing, the recording, the editing, and every other aspect of making a show like this. You can do that by visiting podcastingpeople.uk/support or via the link in the show notes. Thanks for listening.
Hello, my name's James Cridland. I'm the editor of Podnews, and today I'm going to give you a tip all about writing a daily podcast. So my name's James Cridland. I'm the editor of Podnews, which is a free daily newsletter all about podcasting and on demand. In there are jobs and news about the industry and events about the industry and all of that. It comes out every single day in podcast form, but also as a newsletter, and you can subscribe for free at podnews.net. I got into podcasting a long, long time ago. In fact, in 2005, very early 2005, I was working for a radio station in London in the UK called Virgin Radio, and we were playing around with what new technology could offer. And I spotted this thing called podcasting. It wasn't even an Apple by that point. And I thought, well, that would be interesting. So we worked out a way of producing an automated podcast from our breakfast show with Pete and Jeff. And that started in March of 2005. I think the press release also included the word podvertising, which is possibly a bad plan. Anyway, you're free to use that if you wish. And I've been involved in podcasting really ever since, and started Podnews in 2017. One of the things I love about podcasting is the fact that it's open. Anyone can podcast, and you can be right next in the podcast players. You can be right next to Joe Rogan. You can be right next to the newsagents. You can be right next to all manner of very large shows. And then it's just you in your spare room. And that's absolutely cool. The wonder of podcasting is that you don't have to convince a commissioner to take your idea on. You don't have to convince all manner of people to, buy your idea and put it on their radio station or on their channel. So the fact that podcasting is open is a fantastic thing and allows such a different amount of voices on the air than you would get from any other media. So my big tip particularly about making a daily podcast, because I'm foolish enough to make a daily podcast, is to get your workflow right. For everything you do in your podcast, just make it easy, straightforward, help you basically plan a podcast, work out what the easiest way of doing something is, so that you don't end up working really hard on something that frankly not that many people are going to hear initially. So just make it as simple and straightforward to put something together as you possibly can. The reason why you'll find the Podnews Daily podcast in your podcast app is purely because of workflow. I needed to read out my newsletter every single day, because if you read it out, then you find more errors. And I thought, well, I'm reading out this newsletter every single day. I might as well record it. What's the worst that can happen there? And so actually it's all built in to the workflow. So just have a look at every single thing. Can you automate that? Can you make that simpler? Can you make that easier to do? Because that will keep you podcasting for longer. You can find me at podnews.net. That's the daily newsletter that I put together. It's free as well. And you can also find my personal website at james.cridland.net, where you'll also find links in the show notes. And thank you for listening to Podcasting People.
Like the sound of this episode? The Sound Boutique can help with your show too, from fixing problem audio all the way through to producing full shows. Visit thesoundboutique.com today to start a conversation. The link is in the show notes.